HiSec Buyback offers 90% GDA anywhere in HiSec. Simply go to hisec.evebuyback.com, appraise your items, create a contract, and get paid quickly.
You're live.
Welcome to Talking Stations. Today is Wednesday, November 10th. I'm your host today, Shen, alongside with Gregorian.
Good evening.
And our engineers, Nick Bison.
Good day, everybody.
Yeah, so today we're going to start, like the title said, we're going to have a war update. So there have been a few things going on in NOSEC. So first we're going to start with the Keepstar kill up in Declan, I think. Declan, right?
Yeah, I think it's Declan.
Yeah, Declan. So this is the .RHP Keepstar. So the general history of this Keepstar with why it got killed is that .RHP, which is the Federation of Respect, Honor, Passion Alliance, was part of the Greater Trash Community, which is basically the Volta coalition. And they left the coalition on somewhat not a good term, I would say. So their stuff was not extracted, including this Keepstar. And Volta was not going to let this Keepstar to live, and that's why it got killed.
Yeah, RHP has been essentially a renter alliance, which has made agreements with the past several big groups to have held that area of space. When I first started playing, they were part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. They've realigned since then a few times. Winter Coalition and Volta. And I guess this last time they attempted to realign, and that worked out poorly for them.
Yeah, so not only this Keepstar, but we also saw a lot of other RHP structures getting killed as well.
Yeah, what Volta did was they took out all of the other structures before the Keepstar, so there wouldn't be mids for the jump freighter, and it would to prevent them from extracting their stuff. So it was all sent to asset safety in the system of Villison in Blackrise.
Yeah, and that's a low-sec system, which means that I think very shortly there will be a lot of RHP people going there to get their stuff.
Yeah, some of those. I'm told that fire sale contracts have already been popping up from people who asset safetied early.
Oh yeah, I mean asset safety I think takes about around 20-ish days for them to actually go to
20 days in this situation. Yeah, Villison, when I was living there, it was the home system of Fwedet. I don't think they're as active as they used to be, but they're fun guys to fly with and shoot at.
Yeah, also Blackrise, if I remember correctly, that's a Calderi faction warfare space as well, right?
Yes.
It's heavily contested between different players, groups of players.
Yeah, Blackrise is the home region of Snuffed Out. I'm pulling up Dotland to check how far Villison is from Rakapass.
Well, while we're checking, we can see that Blackrise right now. So all of them is basically Calderi, and we see all those pink boxes, which means that it's being contested. All those systems. Yeah. So the RHP right now. So after they left the Greater Trash Coalition, they have joined the RMC, which is the Redman's Coalition, which was located down south in Impass, the region of Impass. So later on, we're actually going to see them again when we're going to cover the war down south. So they're actually going to be a big player, not a big player, but they show up a lot today.
That's take a look at the map from Declan all the way down to Impasse. That's a hell of a trek. I did that with CO2 from Tribute down there, and they've got even farther. So that's logistically, it's quite the move.
Yeah, it's literally almost going from the top of the map, going all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah. So I checked, and the thing I checked for location of this asset safety system is how far away it is from Rakapass, which is Snuffed Out's staging. You do have to mid to get from Rakapass to Villison, but I would be very careful about attempting to extract in the same region as Snuffed Out.
Yeah, Snuff Out being like the big low sec player, to have a lot of caps in those areas, and it's very easy to get attacked by them. Especially if you're extracting something like a super, they're definitely gonna look out for you.
Or a jump freighter.
Yeah,
they're going to be trying to get jump freighters.
Is that the last Keepstar that RHP had? Is
It's
that
the
like
last
that's game over
structure
for
that
them?
they had.
The last structure. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Volta. What Volta did was they took out every other structure that RHP owned before the Keepstar to keep them from midding jump freighters out of the region and extracting their stuff from the Keepstar.
Yeah, and I think like the later part of this, the life cycle of this Keepstar, I think .RHP basically let almost everyone have docking access, and it's kind of like a public area. And Volta was like, that's not going to happen. Like they killed it after that. And also that was during the Halloween event, so we can see a lot of stuff dropped too. So the Halloween event is over now, but see all those fighters, all those fields, all those service slots dropped, and also especially the core. So actually 39 billion worth of stuff dropped. Well, the core is about 30 billion, but everything else, the fitting dropped 9 billion ish. Yeah, so after this, we have another battle report in Pure Blind. So Pure Blind is, compared to Declan, is relatively close to Empire space. And Brave is actively trying to take control over Pure Blind. And now they own their first constellation, I think, in Pure Blind. And they were trying to anchor, well, a bit more than one constellation, I guess. Now they're trying to anchor their Keepstar. Well, that anchoring didn't go well, as you can see in the battle report. So on the Brave part, they lost 225 billion. While on the other side,
I thought that was a Fortizar.
Oh, I mean a Fortizar. Sorry, I meant the Fortizar. I think I was thinking about the other Keepstar too often. So that Fortizar was in its anchoring timer. So it's not armor, it's not hull, it's just anchoring.
It's interesting that Test came over to take shots at it too. So they were kind of, for this operation, obviously they're kind of linked up with the Banderlog folk, it looks like.
Yeah, one corporation from Test, which has one of the Alliance's main fleet commanders right now, Sandrin Stone, they left Brave a little over a year ago, and they've decided now that they're no longer allies that they have a corp deployment up to Pure Blind to shoot at Brave, and well, from what I can tell, they did not leave on entirely good terms. There's some mutual bad feelings with each other, so that's why they're doing this, along with it being a content deployment for them. And
well, it's got to be it's got to be under, with Test's blessing, if you will.
So he's one of the Alliance's main fleet commanders. So he baited out Brave's capital fleet, and then along with a full Test Alliance fleet, and it looks like he worked with one corporation in Horde in particular, Horde Vanguard, which is you see almost all of the Horde caps are from Vanguard. That is the corporation in Horde, which is traditionally where you find where all the leader people who are in core Horde rather than in one of the member corporations end up in. All the leadership and other special roles type of member.
Yeah, so on this battle report, we can see Horde and Test Brawl, like a very high amount of dreadouts and some carriers as well. And especially if you notice, Horde brought, I think, 5 oracles. And those oracles, if I'm not wrong, then they are the combat oracles fitted with capital-sized neutralizers to nuke out like the brave dreadouts and the carriers. And it's actually kind of interesting to see like combat oracles is still being used to nowadays, even after the industrial change, where oracles has gone way up in price. But I guess their combat value has not gone down with that value going up.
I guess it's important to note that this is in one of the Banderlog systems. This wasn't in a Brave system. I highlighted it on the map there because just so folks could get a reference point.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting. I think they're trying to taking over more like Banderlog systems. That's why you see like a decent amount of Banderlog people as well on there.
Yeah, Brave. Their original move to Pureblind was to 5ZXX, which is the home system of Banderlogs. So obviously, Banderlogs would not benefit from this. So they've been fighting pretty hard against Brave.
Yeah, also with Pureblind, you have 2 NBC constellations. So I guess if anything, they can retreat to those. And
5ZXX is in one of those constellations. It's in the Mordu's Legion constellation. So even if Brave does prevail against Banderlogs, I don't expect them to be able to completely evict them because most of their stuff is in the NPC station in that home system.
Yeah, so that's a home system also of Mordu's Legion. That's I think Mordu's Legion only space in the entire EVE universe.
Yeah, it's the only place where they hold Sov. I'm not sure, but they might have NPC stations elsewhere. But this is the only place where they have Sov.
Yeah, they have Sov and they have mission hubs there. So that's like one station or one system with multiple agents of different levels. And you can do missions for them to get rewards to get the blueprints of those Mordu's Legion ships. Yeah, so that's a fight between Brave. So that basically ended up, the fight ended up with Brave losing the 4-star with majority, I think, of their cap fleet. Well, the cap fleet that they brought on grid. So it's a decent loss, but that happened actually during the Crimson Harvest event, which means that a lot of the modules and the fuel and whatever they brought in their cargo hold, those capital ships, actually dropped as loot. So if I think the other side, like the Test and Horde side, extracted, and so that means that they can loot a decent amount of things back as well. Yeah. So we can see like
I just pulled up a random
green.
I just pulled up a random dread, and drop was significant.
Yeah. I mean, haul price has gone up definitely after the change, but it's also very good that they can extract a lot of those capital-sized modules, especially some of the T2 ones. It's really high in price and really hard to make. Yeah, I think with that, we can conclude our update in the north, and then we're going to move on to the south. So to start off with, we're going to talk about the Vindictive alliance. So we can see from the alliance movement, they actually gone down a very high amount of players in terms of their memberships. So you can see that giant crash at the beginning, and then it went back up, but now they went down again. So the general, I think, story behind it is most of their players, well, their core players or the people who still want to stay with them, went to another alliance called East Wind. So that's a new alliance that they made. That'll be like the predecessor, I guess, to Vindictive. Yeah. So as in terms of before the Vindictive players count went so low, they still have a lot of systems under their name. So notably, they still have one constellation left in Faith of Abolus. So that's a constellation that's right next to Esoteria. Yeah, so actually, if you click on, there are actually two places where Faith of Abolus connect with Esoteria. This is the one up higher in compared to the lower one. So there's a higher one more towards the north, and yeah. So
hit the wrong button.
Yeah, if you can just go up to the iHub one. Yeah, so that's their constellation. Yeah, so there we can see there, right? So where one system belong to AOM and the rest belong to Vindictive. So this has not changed yet. But another one that's very noticeably that has changed is in Esoteria. Is in actually in Paragon Soul. That's right next to Puri Basis. Yeah, so we can see that. So that's the Paragon Soul right next to Pure Basis. That actually has changed to Red Alliance space. So what's interesting about this one is actually Red Alliance, if I'm not mistaken, they're both blue to PIPC and Imperium. So it's kind of like a neutral space right now in those, I think it's one constellation there. So, I mean, we have to wait and see what's, let's say, the Vindictive structure is going to go, where is the rest of their stuff, right? They still have that constellation. Is it going to give to PIBC, or is it going to be handed to Red Alliance like we're seeing right now? Also, what's interesting about Faith of Abolus is that Fire is actively trying to take control of Faith of Abolus. So that's going to be, well, we can actually go on to that part as well. So if you actually look at Faith of Abolus, Fire has started taking a lot of systems, but they are not only attacking structures, but also systems now. So down south, we can see on Real Alliance, XX, so they already have like a decent amount of part in Faith of Abolus already, but they're start taking systems that used to belong to Invictus. Where you can see there, 6-tag E, all that constellation there. So maybe during the change hand of that constellation, Fire can come in, take advantage of that, and maybe there's be some conflicts or some drama going on. We have to wait and see. But as of right now, there's nothing going on. It's not being contested. Vindictive haven't handed that to any alliance yet, so that'll be an interesting spot to watch in the future. Any comments from both of you on that?
Well, I'm curious about the Faith of Abolus. Well, not recently, but in the past, it has been used a lot as renter area. So I'm curious with XIX down there. Are they occupying it? Are they, renting it? I don't know what's happening. I really need to get down there and have a look around.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Well, Faith Abolus before the big war, right? It was owned by the Legacy Coalition, and back then it was rented out. I think most of the area, and Invictus owns the south part. So we have to wait and see. But this is so close to, I guess, the enemy space compared to Fire Coalition, right? They have an active war going on against RC plus RMC plus PIBC, I guess. So this is kind of like the war front. So I don't know if they actually want to rent out this part of the space, considering it's kind of dangerous for those renters to live in those systems.
Yeah, if I was going to set up a rental region, I would want it to, well, be in an isolated part of space because renters like being out of the way where hostiles have trouble getting there, which is why the drone regions have traditionally been a big renter area.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, we're seeing tests moving there as well, so it's like safer, and there are a lot of systems that's I think the area is interconnected, right? You have one cap umbrella type of thing. You can drop up to a lot of systems in Zhong region. Yeah, so with that, we actually can come on to a big battle happened. A battle report actually it happened in Impass. So that's happened in the system of YALR-F. So that fight, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is over Sino Jammer or Sino Beacon, one of the two. And in that fight, on one side is Fire Coalition, on the other side is what would you expect, right? Which is the RC plus RMC plus PIPC. So in here, what you don't expect actually from that side as well is a lot of initiative people. So if you actually go on the BR, it brought around I think 200 people, but so with much higher player count or much higher fleet members, they managed to have a much higher ISK outcome compared to the fire side. Yeah, so if you actually just click on that br.evetools.org, I think that one actually gives like a full BR, so we can see like the number on both sides and things like that.
Where's it at?
So if you go up top, here you see that the blue, just click on that. It's actually going to generate BR around that time. So we can see that 238 initiative people.
So the involvement of the initiative shows how RC has changed over the years. Because a couple of years ago, the initiative was backing what was at the time the strongest enemy of Wrecking Crew, which was snuffed out. And that led to the Kamal incident, in which PanFam, Winterco, and Test all stopped fighting in order to defend what was at the time only RC's only Keepstar from the Imperium and snuffed out, which might have been part of the Imperium at the time. I'm not sure if that occurred when they were part of the Imperium.
I think I need to do a correction. I think it's over Astra House timer on that. It's not a Sino Beacon or Sino Jammer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about. Was what's the purpose of the fight? I mean, it's a little too big to just be a fun brawl.
Yeah, definitely.
And we do see an Astra House got popped.
Yeah. That makes more sense. I was looking for some sort of structure kill there. I think I was looking at another BR that if there wasn't any structure kill. I think I heard from someone it's over a timer of some sort, and it's like, yeah, that makes more sense. It's Astra House timer. So we see that there are caps committed. Not much, not as much as we saw in the Brave BR, definitely, but there are caps. And with a high amount of people, of course, this side won the war. But also we saw a very high amount of RHP people here as well. So that's the what's it called? Respect of Honor Passion Alliance, Federation of .RHP. So they're the group that got evicted in the north, but now they're joining war right away down south.
And if you're looking at this, you did mention, there's a couple of Phoenix, a Moros, and a Falgar on the one side, and a single Moros on the other. That's it for caps. So this is like good old-fashioned, get in there hooking and jabbing subcap brawl. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, even on the subcap fight, I guess there's not really many caps lost, or there's not any caps lost. But definitely, even though on the left side they lost the objective, which is Astra House, but they really want the big score, and that score difference is way more than the Astra House itself. Also, I don't know why. I think you should change the Victus to the left side. That makes more sense. Now I'm just looking at it. Just click the double arrow.
Yeah, I know how it works.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, made a bit of difference, but not much, I guess, in terms of a score. So we don't really see RC, I guess, in this fight, but definitely RMC, which is Redmond's Coalition plus PIBC.
I find it interesting that I'm seeing Razor over here with Legion of X Death.
Well, Razor's been in Fire Coalition for a while.
Yeah. Unreal, Razor, Valkyrie. Yeah, so
one of the interesting things about RMC is that one of their member alliances, Shen told me a few minutes before the show started, was sorry in advance, which was in Pravi Block during their final year. And Pravi Block was, of course, not particularly friendly with RC.
Yeah. So we can check that in the Dotland map. So in Impass, we can see the Red Alliance Sovereignty and Sorry in Advance, and the last one I think is called What Could Possibly Go Wrong, which is also present here. So I guess this was this fight, and then we have one more BR that we can look at, which is not really a BR, but is we can look at the kill board on VYJ-DA. You can just pull that up. VYJ.
I'm looking. I got it on the other screen. Give me a moment.
Yeah. So with that fight, it was over Astra House kill timer. So that's Astra House that Staying Wagons owned. That's in Esoteria. So the system of VYJ is adjacent to Staying. So that's next door to UW, which is the system that Frat actually have Forties are anchored in. So in this fight, actually many people from all kinds of different coalitions were involved in this. So that's another thing with this battle report, which is for some reason it can't generate. And we haven't seen the Astra House kill mill yet. So I guess there's something wrong going on there. But with this, we saw first of all the staying wagon. So that's Good Sachs, Ferrita Victrix, all those people, staying Empire as well. So they're on the defending side alongside with Fraternity, which is Winter Coal, right? They have 40s are right next door. And also with them is Fire again, right? So Fire was also present here. So that's VYJ, right? You can see right next to Stain. And that's basically the gateway to Stain. So with that, so that's on one side of defending it. On the other side, we saw a PIBC, right, plus RMC, and I think that's did RC show up too? No, RC didn't show up. I remember correctly. Yeah, RC didn't show up. But what was kind of like a third party in this case is actually Imperium. Imperium showed up to this fight as well. So we saw the Initiative, Sebastian, and some Gunstorm players as well. So I think Gunstorm brought a Tornado fleet. I think on the attacking side, we brought the carriers that we have. That's tethered in the 40s, that's right next to the gate as well. And I think it's full-on Hex fleet, and this is one more Typhoon fleet. So the problem with this fight is we can't generate the BR, so we can't really see the proper ship comp on both sides. Yeah,
Sure, I keep trying it and it keeps failing. So yeah, something's not set up proper yet.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the kill milk generating system. I mean, all the other fight we pull off the BR and it's fine, it loaded, but just this one, for some reason, it just didn't work, I guess. Yeah, so that's another fight. So we can see that conflict is brewing over down south, both in Esoteria, in Impass, also in Immensea and Fatabalis as well. So Immensea right now has, I think, one constellation of RC left, and rest of that is being taken over. Part of the people who are taking over Immensea right now is already replaced. So already replaced was part of Legacy, well, during and before the big war. But now they're relocating and they joined Fire Coalition, and they're right now taking parts of Immensea. Yeah, so that's the RHP. That's their tag name for already replaced. Yeah, right there. So we have just right there, Immensea, and actually there's a constellation with 3 systems of the minion left. They're busy with AT, so I guess Fire just didn't bother with them too much. So just they're kind of left alone in that place. Oh yeah, I think I was mistaken. It was not Immensea. It was Tenerifis. Actually, there's actually one more constellation of RC left. Other than that, it was all taken over by Fire. So actually, Fire is making progress, a lot of progress right now with the help of Horde and Test in certain battles. Right, we can see their numbers are growing bigger. They're having more people. There are more people to fight, and they're having more sovereignties as well. Yeah, so I guess that's all the player news and the war update that we have. But we have one actually game news, which is the EVE Academy video that CCP uploaded, I think yesterday, related to Wormhole PvE combat. Let's see how.
You want me to try and play that for us?
Yeah, we can try it. So I think the chat can let us know if the sound works or not.
Hey, in chat, scream if you can't hear the video. I'm going to fire it up now.
If you're looking to take your PvE combat to the next level, look no further than Wormhole Space. Wormhole systems exist separately from the rest of New Eden, and the combat sites found there offer a unique challenge with tempting rewards. To find a Wormhole combat site, you'll first need to find a Wormhole system. These can be scanned down from almost anywhere in New Eden. Check out the Wormhole Basics video to find out more. In this tutorial, we'll be focusing on the type of wormhole with the easiest sites, a Class 1 system. Before you head out on your wormhole expedition, you need to prepare your ship. Even the easiest wormhole sites can be much harder than most missions, so you should fit up a combat battlecruiser to take them on. Take a look at the Fitting Your Ship video to learn how you can effectively design a fit for purpose. Do note that wormhole sleeper sites tend to have a lot of energy neutralizers, so be sure your ship is able to comfortably maintain its capacitor. If you're flying solo, you may want to consider fitting a core probe launcher with a set of core scanner probes just in case. This will help ensure that you always have a way out if your entry wormhole collapses. Another option is to bring a mobile depot, which you can anchor and use in space to refit a probe launcher onto your ship from the cargo. You should also consider picking up a mobile tractor unit to collect wrecks. More on that later. Once your battlecruiser is ready for action, you can head back to the wormhole you found earlier. Steel yourself and jump in. Now that you're in Wormhole space, you should see a selection of green anomalies in your probe scanner. Many of these will be combat sites that you can warp to. Pick one and warp to it.
Warp drive active.
As you land in the combat site, you'll encounter a small number of hostile NPCs. These are sleeper drones, and you'll find them much tougher than the pirates you're used to. Lock them up and start firing. This is a good time to drop your mobile tractor unit and bookmark it. It will collect loot for you whilst you focus on surviving. Remember that PvP is allowed in Wormhole space, so you should be on the lookout for hostile players too. Sleeper drones work on a trigger system for spawning the next wave of combat ships. Killing the last of the trigger ships will spawn more NPCs until you complete the site. You can find out which ships are the trigger through experience or by checking resources created by Capsuleers online. Once you've cleared out the sleeper infestation, head to your mobile tractor unit and take a look at the unique loot inside. It will have collected valuable sleeper artifacts known to most Capsuleers as blue loot. Collect your spoils and don't forget to scoop up your tractor unit. Congratulations on completing your first Wormhole combat site. What you do now is up to you. Salvaging sleeper wrecks can be very profitable and will help you extract more value out of each site. You might also want to head back to your HiSec Wormhole bookmark to secure your loot away from the clutches of hostile Capsuleers. To profit from your blue loot, you need to sell it on the market. Fortunately, there are NPC buy orders available in systems across New Eden. To find one, look for the highest value buy order and head to that station to sell your loot. NPC buy orders will also be set for a flat amount, such as the Sleeper Data Library, which sells for 500,000 ISK each. Now that you're prepared to take on Wormhole sites, you're ready to get into some of the most rewarding PvE content there is. Get out there and test yourself in the depths of Wormhole space.
Well, there you go. That's the EVE Academy video for PvE, I guess in this case, Wormhole combat.
I'll
Any
tell you
thoughts?
what, EVE Academy is just doing some bang up work. I really like that. And,
Yeah.
sorry, but yeah, one of the things, folks brought up in chat is like, yep, drop an MTU as a new player, and that by the way, that thing can be scanned down and warped to, so they're going to know where you're at. So there's a lot of nuance. They give you the basics nicely there, but there's some rough folk out there.
Yeah. I mean, they did say that watch out for your D-scan, right? There'll be combat probes, there may be ships from other players. There'll be all kinds of stuff from Wormhole, right? When you don't have local, there may be a 100-man fleet waiting for you somewhere in the system. Who knows? That's the beauty and the scary part about Wormhole.
And it's another one of those locations that's and I'm a firm believer of this, especially if you're fairly new or not. If you're going to jump into a wormhole, bring friends. At least one or two, so one of you can be, manning the D scan while the other's shooting the rats until you get a little better hang of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the difficulty of the site goes down dramatically when you have more people on grid, right? The more people you have, the more DPS, and maybe you can do remote repping, right? All kinds of things you can do to help each other out. But I think for new players, that video has done a really good job to get them started if they're interested in Wormhole combat. It's really a different place compared to known space. No matter what security it is, when you don't have local, it can be really scary for a lot of new players. We're not, right? More new players just don't know what's the importance of local, right? And they can just go around without looking at them at all.
Yeah, and couple extra comments out of the chat. Sir Nub mentions, that there's so much more to it, but they definitely lay out the basics and the mechanics fairly well. And that's where you want to start with a new player. You don't want to overwhelm them with absolutely everything. And then Sudokan follows that up immediately with, well, you kill them, and then you pay for their ship and try and recruit them if they're halfway decent at it. You know, I added the if they're halfway decent part because you don't always recruit everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a good thing about CCP putting out these videos, right? They get the new players to try those new content, or the new content for them. But for old players, those new players who are trying the content is their new content, right? There's been a chain of reactions with the food chain, all the way feeding from the bottom all the way to the top. Right, and then I guess it's also a good thing that one point that I saw that they're talking about is fitting a probe launcher. That's actually one thing I don't know if a lot of players do when they don't have like a dedicated exploration ship.
Yeah, if you're in wormhole space, it's generally considered good practice to have a probe launcher and a mobile depot in your cargo bay. So if you do get rolled out of your home hole, you can scan out and exit.
Ash brings up a great point that we overlooked, is the Eve Academy videos you can watch inside your Eve client. You don't have to jump out to a YouTube like I did.
Well, what Astro you say is like you do not need to leave the client and watch most of the Eve Academy videos.
Yeah,
They're watchable inside the Eve client actually.
And that's a great point because, you know, not everybody's got 3 screens and, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for CP to release their next video about wormhole combat, but this time PvP, right? I will see how that will go along with this video, right? On one side, you're trying to have players doing PvE stuff. On the other side, and get players started with wormhole PvP, right? And if those things come together, maybe you can see a newbie trying to kill another newbie. One's trying to do PvP, one's trying to do PvE, and how is that going to go? That's going to be really interesting.
All right, what else you got, brother?
Do you have anything else to say, Gregorian?
Not really for today. I think it would be better to do a more detail. The big news of the weekend was the Alliance tournament, but I think it would be better to do a more detailed show on it when the Alliance tournament finishes up next week.
Yeah, so during this past weekend, I think the first section of the finals has started of the Alliance Tournament 17. So it's going to continue the following weekend, just this weekend, and the winner will be decided on Sunday, right?
Yes. And for this past weekend, one of the most interesting upsets was that Waffles, which is an alliance which has historically not gotten very far in the Alliance tournament, defeated Templis Calcif, which...
That's surprising.
Templis Calcif, which is led by their main fleet commander, is also Wrecking Crew's main fleet commander, the Last Spartan. They had won the last few community tournaments with barely losing any ships at all. So they were expected to do very well and not run into any trouble until maybe the semifinals or the finals. So it was a shock that they were sent to the losers bracket.
That's pretty awesome. That's one of the things I got a chance to watch quite a bit of it, and I missed that battle in particular. So I'm going to definitely have to go back and watch it. One of the other things, and I'm pretty sure they're on this Sunday when they're running the AT, we're going to push the talking in stations back another hour until they're done because can't compete with the AT. I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah, As a former member of Waffles, I've never been happier to lose a bet.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely exciting, especially those new prices, right? For those winners,
And I think
T2 Mortis Legion ships.
I think the way that these AT ships are being distributed is going to make them more likely to be seen in space on the Tranquility server than previous AT rewards, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's higher number, right? Compared to the past years. This year have 120 of them or 140 of them each.
Yes, and in addition to that, they're being distributed further down the line, so everyone who wins at least 2 matches gets a ship.
Yeah. No, and especially the interesting part is the T2 version of the Ultra Hooves is a hick, which means that its job is to point down supers, right? So I'm just excited for the first super to get killed who has a T2 Ultras on its name, on its kill mail. That'll be really cool to see people actually using it in space to hunt down those supers. And it'd be more cool if those nano super cap pilots actually used those AT hicks to point down those stuff that they're trying to catch. That'd be a really, really cool combo to see, let's say, Revenant and those ships together on one kill mill.
I think it's more likely that you'll see them used by the various low-sec hunter groups that are trying to catch those people.
Oh yeah, that's actually true as well. So with that, also we're expecting a really, really big devlog, I guess, on Friday. So
yes, a continuation of yesterday's industry thing. That we're expecting a bigger thing with more information on Friday.
Yes, so I think yesterday's devlog is kind of like a teaser, saying what's their plan for this quadrant. But I think starting on Friday, that's their they kind of already did their actual first step, right, with the introduction of those Aegis explosion sites. But Friday will be like a bigger step that they're going to put down, and it'll be really interesting to see what's going to come. Do we know what's the subject on that devlog is right now?
We don't have a clue, and that's half the dang fun. A lot of speculation. I got my tinfoil hat with a chin strap on it with my wish list, but I'm gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Friday's gonna be interesting and exciting, right? Like the last big devlog on Friday, I think it was the industrial change one, like the one happening in April. That one, it was surprising to me at least, and I was totally blown away by that. So who knows? Maybe this Friday will be as surprising or as exciting as the last one. So we have to wait and see until Friday. So any last thought, both of you guys?
Well, just that tomorrow's daily show will also be at, I believe it's also going to be at 01 Eve time, unless Rundle tells us different. Rundle's going to be the host. I have no idea what he has planned for us.
Yeah, just one last thing. I think Astrology is bringing more information on that. So it will be related to industry and mining changes. So it says New Eden will bring increased resources throughout the universe, extensive updates to mining, a comprehensive rebalancing of EVE's mining ships, and equally significant updates to resource compression. You'll be able to read up all those exciting updates as we get a peek of what road prosperity is going to look like.
Yeah, that all part of the New Dawn. And Artemis, Gregorian, and Malclips all covered that in yesterday's show, with what's written and what's speculative. So, yeah, and that's a pretty good treat. It's about an hour and a half long, but they kind of go into depth on a few of the chunks of it, and it's worth it.
Yeah, so if you missed out the devlog and the patch discussion, then definitely go watch yesterday's show. Any last word for today's show, Gregorian?
Yeah, I think I've said all that I can think of to say for today.
Well, that'll be it. I was your host, Shen, and today's Wednesday, November 10th. Good night.